And I believe we are live. Alrighty. Just give it a moment. Make sure. Dr. Burke, you there?
I am here.
Awesome. I'm just going to make sure that folks are able to see it on the various platforms. Yeah, I see it. I see it there. I'm live. Good, good. Awesome. It's so exciting to have the opportunity to just give a few more minutes for people to kind of get in and be settled. Sweet. Okay. Yeah. Great. I see somebody. Great. I see it clearly. Awesome. Thank you so much, Angel. Folks, as you're coming in, please say hi. We can see, we've got our own chat box that we can see there, and we'll be trying to respond. Also, if you have questions as we're talking and meeting, please chime in there. So we're going to get going. This is just a brief mini interview to kick off our I'm Every Woman conference series, focusing on our speakers. We have some incredible, powerful, dynamic, amazing. How many adjectives should I use to try to convey just how incredible I think Dr. Ansonia Burke is? So can we do some likes and snapping fingers and hand clap emojis for our first guest in this series of Every Woman Live Chat? We're so glad to have you. Let me do this. I have to read your bio first. Well, first, let me, in all my excitement, I didn't even say who I am. I am Pastor Rob Ellis. And yeah, there's a guy who has been given a dream and a vision for a women's conference. I just relocated back to Central Texas after being gone for over 20 years and looking to revitalize Central Texas. One of the things God gave me was an empowering moment for women. It's not strange, actually. As soon as I, started to tell the story, people were like, "Oh yeah," just like T.D. Jakes started "Woman Thou Art Loose," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. It's actually not weird. It's not crazy. I'm in good company. Not that I dare mention my name." and in company with his, but God will give any and everyone vision for what he wants to accomplish, regardless of station or gender or pedigree. So awesome. It's good to see you. Thank you all. I see those hand waves in the comments in the sections. Thank you so much. So I've been in ministry a really long time. It's really not about me, but pastor, producer, songwriter, psalmist. I've been extremely privileged. Also, corporate America, I'm a digital marketer. So I've been very privileged to work within my passions. And one of my passions is just ministry, but specifically holistic ministry, empowering people to live and to be and to do all that God has created and called them to be. Hey there, Annette from Nashville. Awesome. So today our special featured prominent guest is Dr. Ansonia Burke. She is a 3-time author. So when you write your next book, I just will say 4-time and then 5-time and 6-time. When do I just say she's just author and that means she's got like 50 books? Or do I just say 50-time in the future?
Hey, you can go ahead and say that now because I am a 4-time author and I'm going to talk to you guys about that too.
Wow. Okay, man, this bio is literally, I just got this and it's already outdated. Ma'am, leadership coach, consultant. She has a focus to teach and train fivefold ministry officers. And we'll break that down. What is that? What is fivefold ministry officers and marketplace leaders? I love that. It's not just ministry, but ministry in the marketplace ministry. Leaders to operate in the fullness of their apostolic power and authority. She has also trained thousands of leaders in corporations, educational institutions, and ministries. She is well known as an authentic woman and inspirational igniter. Good Lord, this bio is super impressive. Come on, come on. Igniter, I love that. She also doubles as a dynamic speaker and trainer who has a passion to activate, impart, and release leaders into marketplace ministry. And if that's not enough, she has a degree in family studies and counseling, a master's in organizational management, and PhD in advanced clinical chaplaincy. She's excited about that one, pastoral psychotherapy. Here's the thing. In church circles, sometimes we will just give people honorary doctorates. No, no, no. This lady is legitimately Dr. Ansonia Burke. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I didn't even know there was a thing called pastoral psychotherapy, and I'm a learned man, and I learned a new title today. She has a passion for excellence and unique intuitive ability to sense what is happening in the atmosphere and what is not being communicated. That means she is dialed in. She has her finger on the pulse of corporate America and ministry. So let us welcome, jeez, Dr. Burke. My Lord, I am humbled and honored. I have to say, when God gave me the vision for this conference, she was the first person I called.
Mm-hmm.
First person. And I'm sure everyone listening and watching this, after reading that bio and that pedigree, you would imagine, heck yeah, she should have been the first person you called. So Dr. Burke, thank you so much for being with me on this journey, for partnering. I want the people to understand who you are outside of the bio. Who are you?
Those are just words that someone helped me put together. And this is honest. I am just a humbled servant. I love ministry. I love ministry wherever I go, whether it is in the marketplace, whether it's in the corporate arena, whether it's in ministry. I just like doing God's work. And so whatever he tells me to do, I'm there if I can do it. I just love ministry. I love seeing people connect with God. So I'm just a servant. That's all. That's all of those accolades that you said. It just means I'm a servant. That's it.
I'm just the Lord's humble servant.
That's all.
Here's the thing, though. That's not just conjecture. She's not just saying that. She is one of the most humble women you will ever meet. And it's always those super powerful, super confident people that it's just they're little gentle giants. I mean, this woman is an absolute warrior, but she doesn't wear it. There's no ego. There's none of that. There's no hubris. It's just she just wants to see people be and do better. I love that about you. We've known each other. Are we at a decade or so?
We're probably at 20 years, somewhere in there.
Good Lord, a couple decades. I was trying, to make people think this was just dust, but a couple decades. She's like my sister. I mean, she's my sister. I call her little sister. I don't know what the age difference is, but she's my little sister. But I respect her like a big sister. So how did you? Well, and that's how you got involved with Every Woman Conference. Is that you were, just trying to help out your little brother, your big brother, who said, "Help! I need help." But we go back. She has done several conferences. Different ministry endeavors, and I've been fortunate enough to be one of her go-to people to get the call to help out, whether it's music or marketing in ministry. So thank you for allowing me to kind of hang around what you've been doing. So we go way back like that. So here's the question. Here's the money question, and I'm going to minimize my window so the ladies can focus on you. What does it look like? What does it mean for Dr. Burke? I love somebody saying in the chat, "Go girl." I love it. Exactly. You go girl. What does it look like for Dr. Sonia Burke to be a mom, a minister, and a maven? And a maven is just, I leave it the alliteration for an entrepreneur. I didn't want to say mompreneur or female entrepreneur. I needed that in. And so that's where we got maven from. But a female business powerhouse guru. And that's what you are. What does it look like for Dr. Burke to be that?
You know, when I think about that, I think about the juggler, the person at the circus, and they're just juggling balls and trying to get them not to fall. And so
Sure.
literally that is what I think of when I think about the mom, the minister, and the maven, and just
Mm,
being able to keep those balls up in the air and not fall, and then be able to, at the end of the day or at the end of that particular spotlight, then catching them all instead of allowing them to fall on the floor. So it is, when you're doing all three simultaneously, it can be a bit difficult. People tell me all the time, I don't know how you do it. And it's not easy. I can tell you by the grace of God that it is easier, but it's not an easy task. And so when you have, being a single parent, for most of my,
so yeah, let's start there. Let's literally break it down. You're a mom. What does that look like?
so being a mom is being present in the
But
midst
you're a
of,
single mom, you said?
I'm a single mom.
So
And so,
now I've got that whole bio that of all everything that you do and have accomplished and are doing, and on top of that, you're a single mother. Good
exactly.
Lord. Yeah. Okay. So single mom, how many kids?
I have two.
Okay.
And they're both adults now. I have one in college that I'm semi have at the house every now and then I have an
Semi.
adult son that owns his own business in San Antonio.
Wow. Wow. So single mom, keeping the plates right, and on top of that, exactly, Angel. Yeah. Um, and then somewhere along the line, you accepted a call to ministry, marketplace ministry, and it seems like maybe at what point did you realize it wasn't just standing in a pulpit on a Sunday? At what point did you really realize, okay, there's the corporate place. How do I merge the corporate marketplace with this passion for ministry? Talk to us about that.
Well, it's interesting that you would even ask that question. I've never been asked that, but I've always had an answer. For me, it's always been the total opposite. I was always ministering in the corporate arena and running
Interesting.
from my calling in ministry. My mom
Uh,
we grew up in the Church of God in Christ. So my mom is a district missionary in the Church of God in Christ and has been for
okay.
decades. And because she was, an evangelist missionary, people wanted to put that title on me. And I always said, I don't need a title. I don't need a title to do what God has called me to do. So I ran from the
Mm,
title for a very, very, very long time, until I got
mm,
arrested by God and said, no, baby, you will have this title, whether you want it or not. And so it was years, 10 years before it was even longer than that before I even accepted, that I always knew there was a calling on my life, but I never felt like I needed to have a title to it to be able to perform it. But the title, which I had to learn, gets me in doors that I can never get into without the title.
mm. Okay, so talk to us about that.
So,
Because you
tur-
can't. I grew up coaching as well, and I know women in ministry are called, missionary or evangelist. That might be a little, confusing if you're walking into your corporate entity and asking your boss to address you as evangelist and Sonia Burke. So what does that look like?
Well, we didn't. I mean, I just was who I was, and I was a leader, manager in the corporate arena. So I had that title, but I still ministered when I could. You know, if somebody was going through, I was right there for them. If I always mentored people, and really, I'm very good at um, dealing with someone really quickly and figuring out what their skill sets and their talents are, and really
Mm.
honing in on them and igniting them or showing them what they don't see. Most people don't see who they are. And so
Gosh.
I help to show them, did you not know that you could do this? And then I mentor them in that specific area. And so I always did ministry. I just didn't have to have a title to do it. And then in the church arena, even in the code, you already know this, a lot of the code people wouldn't let you preach in their pulpits unless you had the title. And so,
Right.
but even in that, it wasn't even about that. It was about just getting into some doors. People wanted you to speak. And if you didn't have a minister's title or something like that, then you really, who are you under, all that kind of stuff. And so all that is like politics to me. I just want to
Mm.
do whatever the Lord tells me to do. With or without a title, I'm going to do it. So
I appreciate that you have used the language even right there. There's the calling and then there's the title. And so many, we'll just focus on women. I know men as well, but this is a women's conference. So many women might feel delegitimized because they don't have a title. And for them, the title, it may be what gives them access in their organization. But one thing I like to help people with is to consider what their sphere of influence is. And I would hope that you're living your life in a way that doesn't consider the start and stop of your sphere of influence on Sunday morning. What does ministry for me? What does influence? Let's just use the word influence. What does that look like for me on Monday? What does that look like for me Thursday at, when I'm with my kids at soccer practice? Title doesn't matter. Influence is everything.
absolutely. I totally agree
It's
with that.
developing that relational equity. So you honed in and said, okay, regardless of what the title is, the calling, the response, and I think of calling as responsibility.
Hmm.
You felt a responsibility to make a difference in people's lives.
I
Talk more about
did.
that.
Well, I did. I just see, when I hang with people or I'm around people or even, especially in the corporate arena, because that was where I mostly did it, is I love being around people. I love people to feel good about themselves. I have met so many people in the corporate arena and even in ministry, but that they don't see what God sees in them. And so you have somebody working at their peak and you're like, have you ever, thought about being a project manager?
Hmm.
They're a customer service rep and they have like these awesome skills to be able to develop and put a program together. And they're like, no, I would never do that. And I'm not, I don't have a degree and I don't have a this and I don't have a that. And I'm
Right.
like, you have the experience, you have the exposure. And so I allow them to come up under me and I teach them how to be a project manager.
I
And
love it.
it just changes their whole, just a whole atmosphere, just seeing you affirming them and what they're doing, their whole continence changes.
I love that, Dr. Bird. I love it. So, did we cover it all? There's so many things to you. The mom, the minister. Let's talk about the maven. What is your entrepreneurship world? What does that look like? Describe that. What all are you doing? I should ask, what aren't you doing? Because you do everything. But
Well, I'm going to say that's probably what am I not doing, but that's all changing. So let me give everybody ready. I am shifting into what I believe God has really called me to do, and that is counseling and coaching and really getting into people's mental state. Because I believe in, as you said, the whole woman. And whole man, but it's a women's conference, and so I believe in the total well-being of a person, and so I just believe in this next season. At least God has mandated me that you need to get healthy at whatever cost that is. And he is going to expect, hear this word of the Lord, he is going to expect anyone in leadership, whether you're in the marketplace, the ministry, or the educational platform, that you're going to be totally healed for the next season, because the people that we're going to come in contact need to see healed leaders.
Just pause. Don't say any more. Say it again. Rewind that and say it again. It was so good. I want to make sure people get that.
In this next season, he told me that you need to get healed at all costs, because I have an assignment for you, and your assignment is going to cost you to be healed. And then what he has mandated is that for this next season of assignments that God is going to be giving us, he is going to expect that any leader in any role is going to have to be a healed leader, because the people need to see, they've seen all this craziness of us. They have not seen what a healed leader looks like.
Wow. Wow. I'm supposed to be interviewing you, not blown away by you. But in this moment, I am. Yeah, we have that. We've seen that. And we understand the precedence of leading while broken, leading while hurting,
Bleeding.
bleeding, leading while bleeding. Yeah, I was trying not to use the adage, but that's the truth. But people need to see. I think the mandate for this next season is going to require leaders to be at a certain place.
Absolutely.
I can't continue to lead from that place that I was before. That's the challenge I hear you putting out to us today. Gosh.
Yes, Angela, hemorrhaging. And that's the word I was going to tell Pastor. Say it. Leaders are hemorrhaging because they don't know that they are so broken that they can't handle it. God gave us counselors, coaches, healed leaders to be able to heal others. And so in order for us to stop all of this nonsense that's happening out there, we have got to be healed from the inside out, so we can start imparting what heals the congregations.
Sure. Absolutely. What is I want to plug a little bit, your mavenship, your mavendom, you being a business owner, what is your business? What is the name of your business?
So right now it's Principles in Action, but that's getting ready to change. Principles in Action.
I know
but that's going to be
things,
changes.
You've done a lot of things under the moniker of Iconic Leadership. Are you still using that one as well?
So Iconic Leadership was the book. So all of that's going to be changing too. So I'm actually going onto the branding of, and you guys are the first to know, branding under my name, Ansonia Burke, Dr. Ansonia Burke. And then under that is going to be all those, the iconic leader, the books, the declarations. I'm getting ready to start my coaching and counseling business, so I can come out. I just went through a whole healing process and still going through that, but I'm almost done, so I'm excited about that. Well, you're never really done, but
Pause.
the hard part.
I want to go back that it ties into what you said about the responsibility for leaders to be healed. I do want to encourage people that it's really never healed, ED, it's healing.
Healing. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's as long as that you are aware of your brokenness and your issues, and you're constantly striving for healing, that you haven't accepted, I'm just this way, I'm always going to be this way. I don't know that we actually ever get healed, because we dig and we find more information. Okay, I need to work on this. I'm working on this in this season, working on that this next season. It's a continuous healing journey. So
Absolutely.
I want to always, encourage people. It's not to say that you need to disqualify yourself in some way, but you qualify yourself by being on that ing. Makes
Absolutely.
sense.
Absolutely.
So principles in
Action.
principles in action. Somebody type that in the chat for me so I can put it up on the screen. Principles in action. Where did that come from?
It just kind of in my spirit, because I work in the marketplace in ministry, and it's whether we're in the ministry or the marketplace, we're using principles. Principles work for the saved and the unsaved. And so, it actually stops people from being nervous or turned off because we're using biblical language when we're in the corporate arena. And then I can use it in the biblical arena as well because principles apply to both. So that was the reason why I did principles in action.
Principles in action. I love it. Somebody put an exclamation point at the end of it. I love it. All caps, exclamation point. I think somebody really loves the vision, the idea of principles in action. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Angel, for putting that up. And I love that. I love how you're showing people how to apply biblical principles into non-church environments. Because that's the thing, the word works. And the word was never meant to be relegated
No.
for Sunday morning at 10 a.m. These are leadership principles, life. Whatever you're doing, you can be a better whatever that is by applying these biblical principles. And
That's
that's
right.
what you're doing through your business. I love it. What excites you most about this conference? We've got just a few minutes left.
Oh my gosh, everything. The fact that we, coming off of COVID, and we just haven't had, the get together with a lot of women. So I'm really excited just about coming back together in this kind of forum. But I'm telling you, the speakers, oh my gosh, like Prophetess Ray. I had an opportunity to go a couple of weeks ago to hear her. I had never met her before. And I went to meet her, and man, when I tell you, like, I don't let everybody prophesy over me. I don't let everybody pray over me. But I'm going to tell you, that woman, I cannot wait to see how she is in the conference forum. I got a chance to see her in the church forum. And when I tell you she's spot on, like things that she was telling me she didn't know. And so it's amazing to be able to just, sit in her presence and let her operate at full capacity. Bishop Jester, man, I've known Bishop Jester for 40 years. We grew
Wow.
up together. We
Wow, I
grew
didn't
up
realize you guys
together.
went back that far. That's awesome.
Yeah, we grew up together. And so, knee high to a grasshopper. And so I am just to be able to get back and be in fellowship and conference with her again. And then, it's all, and then some of the other ones I don't really know, but I've had a chance to go listen to them, and they're just powerhouses. Christy's coming from a mental health perspective, which I think is dynamic, and we need it.
So necessary.
And so even being able to come together on that perspective, and it's the fact that it's all over. Like, we have from A to Z, and just the whole platform. We're going to have prophetic worship. I love worship. I love prophetic worship, and just being in the midst of that and coming together and just seeing what God can do. I just believe there's going to be amazing healing taking place at that conference. There's going to be some powerful words being spoken into the lives of the people, and I'm just ready and just so ripe for it.
I absolutely agree. Aside from the excitement, why do you think it's necessary for women to assemble in this way? What is the benefit of this conference? When I started branding it, this little tagline kept coming up: "Not just another women's conference." Why do you think it's necessary?
Well, I think I'm going to start back to what I know that the Lord has told me. It is necessary for people to be healed. period. And I just believe
Mm,
that when we come to this conference, women are going to be healed. They are going to, the things that they are just not allowing either people to touch or even God, they're just going to be in the presence where they're not going to have a choice. And for we, with us having mental health professionals in there, Prophetess Ray is a pastor, but she's also a counselor. Christy is a prophetess in her own right. She doesn't have a title of it, but I'm telling you, that woman operates in the prophetic as well
I
and in
love
the
it.
healing. And all I keep healing is the healing ministry. Women are going to
Gosh, I
come
love it.
and they are going to be healed from even people, places, and
Amen.
things that they never even thought were places that they needed to be healed from.
I love it. I love it. Healing. I've been using the terms in encouragement and in empowerment. Those are all words that are synonymous with being healed.
Mhm.
And it's just, yeah, the holistic opportunity for ministry there.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we're at the 30-minute mark. Um, do you have a copy of your book just right there in your reach?
I don't, well, yes, I do.
Haha, I love
So
it.
here's Iconic that I have that I wrote a couple of years ago, but I have two coming out. One that's an anthology project called Build Me While I'm Building It. And that's going to be coming out in the 24th of January.
That is
And
amazing.
I was able to write on excellence. I wonder why. And so I'm excited about that. And I just released my own book called Speak It Until You See It. And I haven't even launched it yet because I wanted to make sure that the Build project got what it needed. But it is out there on Amazon if you want to go and order the book.
Awesome.
Speak It Until You See It. So it's out there. And you can
Awesome.
also get me on AnsoniaBurke.com.
Dr. Burke, thank you so much for just taking some time out of your day to talk with us, to build
Thank you for
excitement
having
and
me.
anticipation about the conference. Look forward to talking more. We'll have more of these links on her speaker page, everywoman.tx.org, everywoman.tx.org. You can go to the website. We've got our speaker profiles there, and we'll have all of the links to her products and endeavors right there. Thank you again, Dr. Burke. Have an incredible day. Everybody be blessed. Thanks for joining us.
Wait, can I say
Take
one
care.
more thing?
Please, yes.
Please, please, please go register. The
Oh, duh.
15th, the 15th is the early bird cutoff. And I'm telling you, you guys don't want to miss it. If you have 10 or more people that are all coming together, there is a big discount for you. And it's $75 per person instead of $100. So if I were you, I would gather 10 people and say, let's go, and get on that page before the 15th and register, register, register.
Absolutely. Register, register, register. Say it 3 times. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Burke. I'm so caught up in how amazing you are.
That's all
I
right.
forgot to tell ladies to register for the conference. Thank you again. Thank you for those who have been joining with us in the chat. You all take care. This video will stay up live. You can watch it at your leisure. Everybody be blessed. Bye.
Mm-hmm.